Marketers of the world, why do we work hard to solve small problems? It's time to bring home bigger paychecks. It's time to create the lifestyle we deserve and to make a greater impact. This is the Fractional CMO Show, and I'm Casey Stanton. Join me as we explore this growing industry and learn to solve bigger problems. The Fractional CMO Show is sponsored by CMOX, the #1 company to teach you how to attract, convert, and serve clients as an in-demand fractional CMO.
Hey, it's Casey here, and I want to talk to you about this really, I think, important concept, which is around the reinvention of yourself and your career. If you consider famous painters, they've reinvented their style over the years, right? They go through their own phases, their blue phase, etc., right? Maybe in your career, you found that you were a marketing employee and then you became an agency owner, and maybe really it was a marketing department of one and you were also the owner and the doer and the salesperson. And then through experience, you've kind of delegated some of those roles and you're the agency owner, but you still do some marketing strategy. Here's what I want you to consider. What's the last reinvention for you? And the reason that this matters is I want you to get as much time in your life to get the best at a thing. If you keep reinventing yourself every year, every few years, every economic downturn, whatever, you're going to find that it's very difficult to get any traction. I want you to consider that reinventing yourself for the last time should be the goal. What is the last reinvention that you could have in your own life? Reinventing how you approach the world in business. What's that reinvention? Maybe you went from, like me, I went from kind of marketing agency owner of one to marketer inside of someone else's agency, to project manager, to salesman, to CMO, to consultant, to fractional CMO. A lot of reinventions. And as a result, I had to update a bunch of stuff all the time, like my website, the way I talked about stuff. It was just such a pain to kind of have a clarified message across the board. You know how hard it is to launch a new website with your new branding and your new positioning and everything. And what's worse is you get all excited, you launch it, people see it, they kind of start knowing you as the person that does that thing. And then a little while later, you change your mind. Now, you might have a good reason to change your mind. You might have been doing, PPC and, you're finding that it's really hard to compete and prices are getting driven down for PPC contracts. If that's the case, you want to get out of PPC, it would make sense that you'd want to reinvent your career. But where do you go? How do you reinvent your career so that you can be confident that this stuff, what you've reinvented to will last and will persist and you can build a legacy around it? That's why I'm so excited about the role of the fractional chief marketing officer. And again, the fractional chief marketing officer is a chief marketing officer. The word fractional just means that the companies that you work with likely don't need you for 40, 50, 60 hours a week and instead need you for less than that. So you serve multiple clients as the CMO. So you are the chief marketing officer for a couple clients. When you reinvent yourself to become a fractional chief marketing officer, you do something really important, which is you elevate to the top role in the marketing department. There is no role in marketing that is higher or more ascended than the chief marketing officer. As a result, I think that role is going to persist for a very long time. I don't see a future where the role of the CMO is gone. I've been dabbling in this new age Web3 DeFi 2.0 stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just bear with me. So this is these really neat projects that are online using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology and smart contracts. And at the end of the day, those companies that are leading the innovation still absolutely 100% need someone in that CMO seat. They must have someone there. When I think of space, when I think of machine learning, when I think of AI, all of those industries, they need CMOs working for those companies. So I think in the future, you have a really good chance of being valuable and useful as a chief marketing officer. So my encouragement to you is to consider reinventing yourself as a fractional CMO and then committing to it forever. Just go commit to it. Don't say, I'm going to do this fractional CMO stuff for a little while. No, I want you to do this long after you think you're going to retire. You're still a fractional CMO. You might only have one client. You might only work 2 hours a month, but you're going to keep your brain engaged. That's going to help you with aging, right? It's going to help you have, additional feelings of like value, like impact in companies. You don't have to do it necessarily for a for-profit company. You can move over to nonprofits at some point. But I want you to be the CMO. I want you to step into the role of the CMO and go be that person. Go be that warrior that's always in that CMO seat, who always stays elevated, who always thinks through, how do I solve the biggest problems? Solving bigger problems is how you make the biggest impact. And if you commit right now to becoming a fractional chief marketing officer, you're going to put yourself in a really good position. You're going to go position yourself and hopefully win business as a fractional chief marketing officer. And then in 5 years, you're going to have 5 years worth of experience that's only going to compound your expertise and your authority. It puts you in a significant position of power. And I mean power to do good. So if you have been thinking, what am I doing with my career? I have this marketing experience. I was an SVP over here with this company, or I'm an agency owner, or I'm a director of marketing, but really I do mostly CMO stuff, whatever it is. If you think the next role for you is to become a chief marketing officer, I probably agree with you. I want you to have a strategy to make that happen. I would love to see you in a couple of years and you say, Casey, I committed to it and I've been able to bring in business and that business compounds through word of mouth. My success stories have been growing and growing. I feel all sorts of efficacy in this role. I feel appreciated. I get paid really well. I make a lot of impact. I love the teams that I'm working with. I feel like a leader, right? If that's where you want to be in a couple of years, commit to yourself that you're going to reinvent for the last time and you're going to become a chief marketing officer. And then to cover yourself, serve multiple companies. If you go and take a W-2 job as a CMO of a company, you'll enjoy the benefits of, healthcare and a 401k and whatever, but you'll be locked in. The CMO is the shortest lived C-suite role. Sucks, but it's the truth. Go look it up online. The CMO is the shortest lived C-suite role. So what I'm suggesting is elevate to that role because it makes sense. It's the top role in the department of marketing, in the discipline of marketing. You want to be there. But then cover your bases by having multiple clients that you serve as the CMO. You can lose a client because their business goes under because someone was embezzling, right? You don't want to be in that position. You could be working with a client that is doing something that the supply chain has disrupted dramatically. And as a result, they're expecting that things won't be back to normal for 2 years. And then they think to themselves, why do they need you as the CMO? Right? It's going to be 2 bad years for them. They just need to have like a decent PR campaign and then maybe hire you back in 2 years. Companies are thinking that way right now. Supply chain is significantly disrupted. I think we absolutely learned that with the Suez Canal. Do not wait for someone else to save you, right? Someone to give you a great job opportunity that you can lock into. That's the life that my dad lived, probably the life that your parents lived. My dad got out of college, got a job with IBM, pretty quickly out of college, and was with them for over 25 years, got a pension. That doesn't happen these days. That's not going to happen for you. So if you want to have long-term success, you've got to elevate to the top role in marketing. That's number 1. Number 2 is you've got to serve multiple companies to protect your downside. And then number 3 is you've got to focus on solving bigger problems. If that makes sense, I'd love to hear from you. You can go over to cmox.co/invite. And I've got a little video presentation to see if you'd be a good fit to be a fractional chief marketing officer. So just head over to cmox.co/invite and take a look. See if you think becoming a fractional chief marketing officer will actually help you in your goals to grow financially, grow in your impact, and then grow in stability. All right, that's cmox.co/invite.
Thank you for joining us for today's show. For more information and episodes, visit our site at fractionalcmoshow.com. Go ahead and punch that like and subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. It means a lot, at least to my mom.